Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2020 Suzuki Jimny. Up front is a 658cc turbocharged inline 3, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Jimny for two reasons. First of all, ever since this vehicle debuted, I have been a huge fan. However, in my home market of the United States, we do not get this vehicle. And so today I'm filming in Noda, Japan to show you guys all of the glory of the Jimny. But the second reason I'm excited is because this is the K version of the Jimny. So this has the 658cc inline 3, but they also sell the Jimny Sierra that has a 1.5 liter, and it's a little bit bigger. So this is a Japan-only version of the Jimny, and I'm excited to share that with you here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 658cc Turbo 3 under the hood. Well, as I mentioned, that is the smaller and smallest engine available here in the Jimny. Now, you might be looking at it and say, Zack, that looks like kind of a big car. Is the Turbo 3 good enough? And I have to say that it is. This isn't going to be a rocket ship, so you have to kind of know that going into it. But it honestly feels like the older Jeeps that I've driven, you know, the old Willys Jeeps from the 40s and 50s. It's not a barn burner, but it works and it does the job. And I'm not really left sitting here thinking, oh man, I need more power, I need more this, I need more that. It's enough to get by, and with having that smaller engine, you get huge tax benefits here in Japan. So this was the tremendously more affordable way to own a Jimny, and still is currently, because these are still being made. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. Feels great, shifts great, absolutely lovely, has a great feeling in and out of gear, has a great clutch engagement, and it's nice and easy. You know, I had never driven a Jimny before this morning, and I got in, and it wasn't a big deal, which I like. Last but not least, of course, the Jimny is 4-wheel drive, as the little off-roader it is. Now, how does it feel to drive the Suzuki Jimny? Well, besides my own personal feelings of the fact that it's the coolest thing on planet Earth, it's a harsh off-roader experience. You feel every bump and dip in the road, which here in Japan is a lot fewer and farther between than back home in the States, so you know, smoother driving experience there, but it is a very rough and tumble drive. It drives like a miniature Jeep Wrangler. You sit very straight up high, the windshield is straight up and down, everything is very angular and very industrial. But it's in a smaller package and a lot more manageable of a package, which is definitely nice to see and of course feel. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 gauges and a screen. Off to the left is the tachometer, off to the right is the speedometer, and that little screen giving me my kilometers as well as the outside temperature and time and things like that. On the steering wheel, we don't get anything. Like I mentioned, this is a very basic version of the Jimny, so nothing on the steering wheel. And off to the right, we do have a climate control vent and our headlight levelers, but that's it. This doesn't even have push to start, which is blocked off down below. On nicer trims, this would be a button so you could start it. Well, the K version doesn't have that. Moving on to the door, latch to get in and out. That's it. Even the mirrors are, in fact, manual, but we do have power windows, which we'll talk about here in a second. Moving into the center, we have an aftermarket radio. Almost all cars here in Japan have aftermarket radios. There's a bunch of reasons for this, so it's not really out of the ordinary, and especially in a rental car, they usually swap out the radios anyway, so kind of a fun little piece of lore there. Down below, we have 2 climate control vents with the hazard switch, and our climate controls, they kind of protrude out of the dash a little bit. I kind of like that look. Again, very industrial, very purposeful. Where to send it off to left, fan speed in the center, and temperature off to the right. The buttons have a nice solid feeling to them. Down below, we have our power window switches. As I mentioned, we also have traction control off and our hill descent control, which is really nice. You know, for a little off-roader like that, they didn't necessarily have to give us that button, but they did, and I appreciate them for that. Then we have a 12-volt outlet and the shifter. The shifter is tall and mighty, but it is very, very economy feeling, very cheap feeling, not super nice. However, it does the job. And again, this is a basic car, so I can't really dock it any points for having basic car things. Then we do have the 4-wheel drive settings, as well as our handbrake, some blocked off buttons that I have no idea what they would do, and some cubby space, which does have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Suzuki Jimny, and unfortunately it fails. I'm still waiting for the day that a JDM vehicle will pass, but smaller car, smaller cup holders, it makes sense. The seats are cloth and again, very basic. They are manual sliders forward and back. However, there is no height adjustment. So if you want to bring it up or down, sucks to be you, I guess. You can recline it, but that's all of the niceties that you get here in the Jimny. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. Unfortunately, some rain here in Japan today, but that's okay. Coming in here, we can slide this seat up. Oh, okay. Apparently it doesn't have like a stop. So it does give us extra room to get into the back. And here we are in the back of the Suzuki Jimny. Honestly, I mean, the seats obviously are not comfortable, but it's not horrible. I can fit back here. I am in the back of a Jimny. I've accomplished that part. But would I want to be back here for a long amount of time? No. Now, there is a caveat to this. As of a few model years ago, they actually did introduce, for the regular Jimny, the Jimny Sierra, they did introduce a 4-door. I haven't tested that, never been in one. I actually just saw one in Tokyo last night. So I don't know how that is, but if you do need more space in your Jimny, you can get the larger one, which is a 4-door. This is the K version. It's going to be small. It's kind of the whole point. And so you get a very small back seat. But very, very cool. You get these big wide open windows to see whatever terrain you're adventuring through back here. Very, very neat. We're in the back of a Jimny, which is very, very special in my opinion. Let's hop into the very back. I can't imagine there's much cargo space back there, but we'll take a look and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Jimny. Haven't opened it up yet. And yeah, it's not a whole lot. As you can see, not a whole lot of cargo space. You do get the spare tire on the back, which is very, very nice, but nothing in here, nothing in here. We can pull this tab. I guess you have to pull both. Try to do this POV style. Yeah. And there you go. Look at all the space that you gain from that. So, you know, it works. Pull this back up, regular back seats. But again, compact was the name of the game, and that's what the Jimny does very, very well. And that carries on to the cargo space. So there you go. Now we got to talk about the looks. And I, of course, adore the look of the Jimny. I think that's 99% of my draw to it. Now, I will say, the K version is changed exterior a little bit. It doesn't have as big of bumpers or fenders. It doesn't have as big of wheels in order to fit within the size restraints of K cars. So I do like the Sierra a little bit better. I actually think that looks like a more complete, more cohesive vehicle. However, I did really want to drive the K version because I can find a Jimny Sierra in Mexico or Iceland or other places, but this is only for the domestic market of Japan, so I wanted to have that little speciality. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving, sort of a meet your hero scenario, driving the almighty Jimny? Well, I adore it. I adore this experience. Now, like I said, it's not crazy great to drive. It is pretty rugged and all of those things. Sure. But it's just so happy and so willing to do whatever you want it to do. And this being the K version, this is now a lot more accessible to the every person. If you want a small off-roader, you're going to be able to drive this for a lot more affordable prices. You're going to be able to own this for a lot more affordable prices. This car is going to be in more people's hands because it is the K version. And honestly, it doesn't feel like I'm driving a slouch. It doesn't feel like I'm losing a whole lot. That turbo inline 3 it feels adequate enough. It's not leaving me at the bus stop. And I had hesitations. I was curious if it was going to, but really, genuinely, thoroughly, it's great to drive. It's fun. It's kind of that feeling of everything you need and nothing that you don't. And that's why I love the Jimny. Every off-roader in the United States is big and carries a very big price tag because of that. This ain't big, and yet it's still tough. It's still gonna do what you want it to do, and that's a wonderful thing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed checking out something that I've wanted to show you guys for a very long time, and I hope you've enjoyed the Jimny. My trip here to Japan was made possible by JDM Imports. Go to collectiblejdm.com if you would like to bring home your own slice of Japan, whether it's one of their vehicles in their inventory or if you would like to source and find the perfect vehicle in Japan and bring it to the United States. You can do all of that through collectiblejdm.com. So thank you, JDM Imports, for making this trip to Japan possible. Click the link in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.